For a long time, people were asking me like, oh, you're constantly traveling, you're moving around all the time. When are you just gonna settle down? And that was actually a very good question. And I didn't really have a good answer back then, but now I've found my place in the sun, if you will, here in Koh Samui. And I feel like I've finally found home. Honestly, Koh Samui feels more like home than America ever did for me. So I would definitely consider myself an expat now. I'm no longer a digital nomad. I've found my home base in Koh Samui, and I look forward to continue traveling again sometime soon, but I'm not in a huge rush. You know, all these places, Philippines, Vietnam, Malaysia, Cambodia, they'll still be there. They're not going anywhere. I've been in Thailand for 3 years, and that is the #1 reason why I no longer consider myself a digital nomad, because I have a home base. My home base is Thailand. I have not left for 3 years. Digital nomads are traveling pretty much non-stop. They don't have a home base, which is where I'm different. I've realized over many years of being a digital nomad that constantly moving and chasing and looking for the next destination didn't really lead me to more increased happiness. It really just increased my anxiety and my ADHD, if you will, constantly moving. And then after a while, I started to get pretty burned out, because not only because of my financial situation and always looking for that next client and figuring out how I'm going to get to the next place. My original intention before the pandemic hit was to travel to 60, 70 countries in the next 5 years. And then I basically realized that it would just be ticking off the boxes, right? I wouldn't be able to experience the culture properly. I wouldn't get to know the people, the place very well if I was constantly moving and just ticking off one box after the other, trying to get as many passport stamps as possible in the shortest period of time. That's not necessarily the best approach, right? It's better to find a home base, a place where you're happy, such as, you know, beautiful Koh Samui here. It's basically like paradise because there's almost no tourists around, partly because it's getting into low season, but even during high season, it's still very quiet and peaceful, especially here in Lamai, where I am now. So I'm just going to be showing you around the beach a little bit today. I'll take you on a short walking tour. And let me know if you have any questions or if you're thinking about visiting Koh Samui. I'd be happy to give you a few pointers, resources, and tips. I'm going to take you for a walk along this stretch of Lamai Beach. And you will notice right away that, you know, there's almost nobody on the beach. Basically have the whole place to myself. Very quiet and peaceful. And the other nice thing about Lamai Beach is the sand is just, you know, smooth, flat. So it's really good for jogging or walking like I'm doing right now. And a lot of times I'll come here in the morning, just go for a quick jog, 15, 20 minutes, take a dip in the cool, refreshing water, and then head back to my place or go to a coffee shop or something and start my work for the day. Another reason that I choose Thailand as my home base is because of the lower cost of living, better quality of life. I talk about this all the time in a lot of my videos, and it really is true. Like, compared to most parts of the world, the cost of living over here is a small fraction of what it would be back in the States or pretty much anywhere in Europe. Considering the current global political situation in Europe and basically the stranglehold that Ukraine and Russia have over the European Union, it really doesn't make sense to go there at the moment because, first of all, the inflation rate is continuing to climb. Everything is getting more and more expensive. It was already really expensive in Europe, and now it's just continuing to get more and more expensive. This YouTube channel is now finally monetized after 2 years of hard work and consistently putting out content, but it's only bringing in about $2 to $3 per day, so can't really afford to travel full-time on that small budget. But as the channel continues to gain momentum and it gets more and more views, subscribers, and the ad revenue continues to go up, I think it could be very possible to travel full-time just from the ad revenue on YouTube, and that's sort of my goal. But I don't want to rely entirely on that income alone, right? I want other passive income streams that are bringing in money. I could also add affiliate links to all my videos, get people to sign up, and start collecting commissions from all of my affiliate programs. But I found that it's usually very difficult to get someone to sign up for an affiliate program unless you have a lot of views on your video. Maybe if I were to continue traveling full-time and just start doing that right away, my channel would blow up. Like, I've seen a lot of YouTubers that many of them have been in Thailand for a long time, and then they take off to go to the Philippines or Malaysia or, you know, some other Southeast Asian country, and all of a sudden their channel just skyrockets, right? They're getting hundreds of thousands of views because, you know, a place like Philippines, obviously there's like 100 million people in the country. Most of them are English speaking, and the majority of them are on YouTube. So it's definitely a good option, and I would love to visit the Philippines relatively soon, hopefully sometime next year. But first, I want to make sure this YouTube channel is profitable and I continue seeing growth in ad revenue from my video content, right? A lot of times creating content for YouTube actually keeps me in the present moment, even though I'm not really experiencing my surroundings as much as I would if I wasn't staring at my phone. I find that it usually gets me more into the present moment rather than taking me away from it. There's a saying which I'm sure many of you have heard before, and that is YOLO, which stands for you only live once. I think that's where a lot of the non-stop, you know, chasing and traveling all the time comes from. They feel like, oh, it's one life, never gonna get to travel again, this is my only life, so I might as well make the most out of it while I'm here. And obviously there's a lot to be said for that. Totally understand where they're coming from in many regards. But at the same time, I think it's really important to just appreciate what you have now, stay in the present moment, and, you know, stop chasing all the time, right? I've been a digital nomad for 6 or 7 years. I really started back in like 2017. I bought a one-way ticket to Costa Rica. I traveled around this beautiful country for about 2 weeks, went back to the States, and then about 6 months later, I was shooting on assignment for CostaRica.com. So these shooting aerial promo videos for their website, CostaRica.com. And I got to experience more of Costa Rica. I traveled around this beautiful country for about 2 months. I ended up crashing my drone in the rainforest, and it started pouring down rain. We never found the drone again, which is rather unfortunate. So I ended up cutting the contract short by about a month, and I basically just traveled all the way up through Central America for about 2 months. Nicaragua, you know, Mexico, all those countries. And then about a year later, I had bought a one-way ticket to Panama City, to the southern tip of Chile, to a place called Torres del Paine National Park. That was my destination. And after I reached that destination, I'm like, wow, I had achieved this monumental goal. I never thought I was going to make it that far, and I didn't know how I was going to survive, but I found a way to make money as I was traveling, and that was through the Airbnb referral program. So I was basically signing up new hosts to join Airbnb and then getting paid a fairly large commission every time a new host signed up. And that was essentially how I backpacked through South America for a year without any paying clients, just by signing up people on Airbnb. So that was amazing. And then after a while, the program shut down during the pandemic, and I was no longer able to basically generate passive income with Airbnb. Then I had to start building other online businesses, and obviously starting this YouTube channel, which is now finally monetized after 2 years. I could potentially travel full-time just from the revenue on this channel, which is my ultimate goal. But at the same time, I also want to find other income streams, not just YouTube. In case this one, falls apart, I'll have other income streams to fall back on. And obviously now there's more and more companies hiring fully remote workers. If you'd like to join my LinkedIn group, it's called Work From Anywhere, Remote Workers and Digital Nomads. It has about 4,000 members in it now. You can find the link in the description below. And I also have a Facebook group with about 6,500 members in it. Same name, Work From Anywhere. You can join both of those groups. The link is in the description below. I'd love for you to check them out. Introduce yourself in the group. I also provide a lot of value in those groups as well. It's basically a growing community of remote workers around the world. We've got people from all sorts of different countries in there. So feel free to join those groups. One of the really nice things about Koh Samui, which I've discussed in other videos on this channel, is that it's in a protected area in the Gulf of Thailand. So it doesn't get hit by tsunamis, cyclones, tropical storms. Hurricanes don't even exist over here in Thailand. It's mostly just tsunamis. So it's really a very safe place to be. In fact, it's actually one of the safest islands in the world. So it makes for a really, really good home base. And now it's getting into rainy season, but as you can see behind me, it's still sunny, beautiful, warm weather. So it could start raining again pretty soon, and we'll get a lot of flooding on the island, but for the time being, it's still beautiful, sunny, and warm. And also, Koh Samui has an international airport on it, which you can use to easily access other destinations around the world. You can easily fly into Phnom Penh in Cambodia, or Kuala Lumpur in Malaysia. You can get to Bangkok, Phuket in Thailand, or Vietnam, Ho Chi Minh, Hanoi, or even Manila in the Philippines. Pretty much all of those destinations you can access from the international airport here in Koh Samui. You may most likely need to fly into Bangkok first, but to get to Phnom Penh, for example, they have direct flights, as well as Phuket. So just a few days ago, last week, I went to Phuket for a business trip. I was able to fly direct out of Koh Samui. They have a really beautiful airport here. It's considered one of the most beautiful airports in the world, as a matter of fact. So I just flew straight to Phuket. It was only 45 minutes. Landed at the airport. A Grab picked me up and took me straight to the villa. And I stayed there for about 4 nights, all expenses paid, which was awesome because the villa, I think, was like, 5,000, 6,000 baht per night. Beautiful luxury villa. I was able to experience more of Phuket, specifically the Kamala area. I mostly just stayed around there. Didn't really go out partying too much because I was really busy with meetings and video editing and helping them with their website a little bit, posting some YouTube content. So I figure it's really easy to access most parts of the world directly from Koh Samui. And Koh Samui is situated like directly in the middle of Southeast Asia. So it's a really easy access point to get to most of the major travel hubs, such as Dubai or Doha, both places I've never been before. And to be perfectly honest, I don't really have much interest in visiting a place like Dubai, which is just so ostentatious and luxurious. Doesn't really appeal to me all that much. But it would be fun to visit and see how the top 1% of the world's population lives. But for the time being, I don't really care that much. having millions of dollars in the bank isn't going to make me happy in the short or long term. And at 35 years old, I already realized that fact. I've seen people that have become very wealthy and they're still miserable. So why is that? I'm not entirely sure, because I don't have a lot of money in the bank. But lifestyle has always been more important to me than showing off your wealth, right? There's so many people that are flashing their fancy cars and their multi-million dollar mansions. I could go out and drop, $1,500, $2,000 per month on a luxury villa with a private pool and a sea view on the island. But I don't really see the point, because I'm already happy in my small house paying $300 a month. And it doesn't really make sense to just blow a whole bunch of money on something when you could be happy with what you have right now. If you compare $2,000 a month for a beautiful luxury villa with like 3 bedrooms, private pool, and a sea view to the prices back in the States, where you get like a small studio apartment in the city for that price, it's a total no-brainer. Like, why wouldn't you come over here to Thailand and live that type of lifestyle? It just doesn't make sense to me. Hello. Thanks so much for watching this video. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I'm going to be posting more content like this real soon. And let me know if you're planning a trip to Thailand, specifically Koh Samui. I'm happy to offer any resources or advice that I may have. I'm a wealth of information, so yeah, just post in the comments below if you're planning a trip to Thailand, and hope to see you here soon.